I've been wanting to do a video on this topic for quite a long time. People don't understand why things happen to them, and they're even more confused as to how they can actually make it go away. So this video is about why it is that you're unhappy and how you can reconnect to your happiness. You have to understand something. When you're born into this world, the first thing that happens to you is that you're thrust into a system that is the antithesis of happiness. So therefore, what happens is that you are unconsciously forced to disconnect from the true nature and the true essence of your heart and soul, which of course is your higher self and the cosmos, because that is exactly who and what you are. So when that disconnection occurs, they take your energy and they plug it into their system, which immediately causes you to experience everything of an opposite vibrational nature than what you experience when you're plugged into your happiness. And then this is reinforced and fortified with the environment that you're raised in, society, because children are a product of their environment. Children are influenced by the surroundings. They're highly impressionable. Adults who are dysfunctional and unhappy wind up becoming the role models of these children, and they're just reinforcing more of the same dysfunctional, unhappy narrative that this is the way it is, accept it, life is pain, no gain, all that nonsense. So this reinforces and fortifies that sense of disconnection from your happiness. And it further drives your energy into that system that's causing you to be unhappy. And then when you are a child, they write on the pages of your mind everything that you're supposed to do, preparing you for adulthood. So this is the indoctrination that you go through. And of course, this is the reason why children see adulthood as a prison sentence. So when you're a child, you have a carefree life. Most children do. And it's just easy. It's really beautiful. You just play, you wake up, everything's taken care of. Your parents or whomever it is you're staying with, they're the buffer that's giving you that safety zone. So you don't have to go out there and get a job. And again, this is not for every child in the world, because some countries like Israel and China, they've got kids working at 5, 6, 7 years old. There's children in the army in Israel. I'm quite sure it's the same in North Korea, and all the communist countries, that they're treated as if they're adults and they have no childhood. So again, I've already factored all of that into this and have taken that into consideration thoroughly. What I'm speaking of is in general. When you're born, you get to be a kid, you go to the playground. Nowadays, it's video games and cell phones, but nonetheless, pretty much your guardians are taking care of all of the business end of your life, so you don't have to worry about it. So when you come into this world, you're greeted not with a smile so much as you're greeted with an expectation of you, that you have to be this, you have to do that. It's preparation for the inevitable, for you to be a good little boy or a good little girl and fit into that system. So that essentially is the death of your inner child and the rape of your innocence, and the purity of your heart just gets decimated, because what they do is they create this sense of disconnection between your soul and God. Religion is very good at doing this. They tell you God lives up in the sky, which infers that God is not anywhere near you or nowhere around you. So that creates a sense of abandonment and isolation, that you have been left alone and forsaken by your Creator. So you have that to contend with. And then it just exacerbates itself as you get older, because your experiences reinforce this. Because don't forget, everything that you were taught and told is exactly what they want you to know. Everything that you see, your perceptive lens, is a product of what they've shown you is the truth. So they've already prepared you for the inevitable reality of an unbearable life long before you even come out of the womb. So you have that. Now, that's just some of the reasons why you're unhappy, because you're disconnected from your true nature. And the reason why this happens is because it doesn't serve their purposes for you to be an individual, to be happy, to be high vibrational. So then, therefore, when you're unhappy, you are finding yourself in a low vibrational environment. So when you are negative and low vibrational, those are the experiences that you will generate, because then you're existing. When you are in a high vibrational environment, you're thriving and you're happy. So the question then becomes, how do I connect to my happiness? It's easy. It's very easy. What is the one thing that caused you to be disconnected from your happiness? The system. right? The Matrix. That's what you're plugged into because they unconsciously forced you to do it through peer pressure, trying to fit in like everybody else and be like everybody else and robbing you of your individuality, your identity, your sense of self-worth, self-love, self-value. There's no respect there. There's no self-respect. That's why you always look to fit in and seek validation from external sources and, all of that. You've surrendered your energy to them. You gave them your energy and they have it. They own it. They possess it. They control it. They control you and they're not going to plug you into something high vibrational. So they want you to be happy because they keep continuously getting you to generate energies that formulate these experiences that you observe that just reinforce your disempowering belief that life is garbage and why should I even be here? And that just keeps cycling. So you just keep going down and down, misery, sorrow, depression, suicide, all of that. And it just makes things worse. So this is a farther disconnection from your happiness. Okay, now that we've established one reason why you're unhappy, and of course, it's also stemming from your trauma as a child, physical abuse. Perhaps you were sexually abused as a child, beaten up by your parents or other kids at the school ground, bullied. There's a lot of factors. But again, that's their system. Do you see? All of the violence, the apathy, the cruelty, the stoicism, that is their system. That's what it is comprised of. That's all that it is comprised of. You take this tender little seed and drop it into a meat grinder, and you expect it to be intact, where you can plant it in a garden and it will germinate and take root. It won't. It's been pulverized into dust. That's what they do to your heart. Now, whatever the reason that was the root cause of it, the direct cause, the remedy is very easy. The very system that you're connected to is what is creating the disconnection to what can bring you your happiness. Now just follow me on this. Very important. If you notice, the mind is always overreacting to things. It makes things out of nothing because it's been programmed to do that. So in other words, it takes an illusion and makes it into something called a problem. And now you attach your feelings and emotions to these things and you give it confirmation and validation as being a reality that you have to confront. So therefore, you take this illusionary monster that you now have to slay, and that's going to take physical exertion. It's going to expend everything. It's going to require that you expend an inordinate amount of your time, attention, effort, energy, focus, concentrate, everything to slay this dragon, to slay this demon. That's fictitious. It's an imaginary demon. And that's physically exhausting. The level of physical exertion required is taxing to the limit. That's why you're always fatigued into compliance by this system. Because you don't have any energy left to do anything, let alone help yourself. So once you realize all of that is at work against you, now how do we reconnect to our happiness? It's simple. Very easy. First off, stop saying easier said than done, because you have already unconsciously projected that energy to a future point in your reality that becomes a blockage. And you don't even realize you're doing it to yourself. Because again, it all falls back on the narrative, which is your operating system, your software, your program that your computer runs off of. This is a computer as far as you being plugged into the system, but it is a biological, organic, natural element of the cosmic earth, which is divine, that you're not plugged into. Follow me, because I'm going to get to the solution very simple, very easily and very quickly. Your computer is plugged into their operating system, continually ordering you to destroy yourself, to disconnect from your happiness, any semblance of kindness, eradicate it, block all forms of divine transmissions that are attempting to help you in your situation. Because all you will revert to is your default negative setting, that is your narrative, that is their system. Because your perceptive lens will only recognize the environment that it has been programmed to be aligned with. Now, how do we reconnect with our happiness? It's easy. Ask yourself, what am I connected to that's making me unhappy? Boom! Disconnect from it. Pull away from that system. Reclaim your power. Get back the essence of what you gave away. Now, I'm not saying this is going to magically make those wounds disappear, because it won't. That's not what this video is about. I'm trying to get you to realize why you're unhappy, because you're plugged into something that is demonic in nature, and it's not going to bring you happiness unless you're a serial killer or a sadistic, or a masochist. And how do we reconnect to our happiness? Well, there's an exercise I always encourage people to try. Empty your mind of everything. Now think of the happiest moments of your life traveling through your memories. Now, live within the energies of those moments for the rest of your life. And that's one way to do it. The other way is to disconnect from their system and reconnect to the only thing that can make you happy, which is yourself, connecting to your higher self once again, ladies and gentlemen. Because the moment you came into this world, they took that plug and boom, they disconnected you from your higher self, and they took that plug and plugged it right into that satanic matrix. And they said, welcome to the world. That's exactly what they said. You know, the Psycho Circus. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the show. There you go. So when you consciously decide to take the power away from them and unplug from their system once and for all, empty your mind of everything that they ever told you, meaning unlearn and deprogram all the garbage they filled your head with. And you take your mind and your heart and your soul and you plug it once again to your higher self, the cosmos. And you stop making issues that shouldn't be made because these are illusions that you're creating. And you're unnecessarily complicating your life by overthinking things. Just relax and trust the universe that you have an unconditional love and an unconditional forgiveness waiting for you the moment you reconnect to your higher self. How do you do that? You just disconnect from the matrix. Reconnect to the very essence of your heart and your soul, and that's your connection. You're connecting to Source once again because you've been disconnected in the sense that your happiness has been taken away from you. We're always connected to God in the sense that we are always animated by God. God is the source of energy that animates the everything of everything. But emotionally, mentally, spiritually, metaphysically, and physically, you can disconnect from the embodiment of Source, meaning that you can convince yourself that you're disconnected. Brainwashing. And that's what they do. That's why religion tells you that God lives up in the sky, which creates a sense of disconnection. And then comes the abandonment, the isolation, the feeling lonely, forsaken. You feel like you have been just somehow neglected, left out. You see, it's like, remember when you were a kid and the parents came by, right? And everybody's going to get candy and everything. But somehow you got left out or you didn't get what everybody else got. How did it make you feel? It made you feel horrible. And it made you feel bad, and you got hurt, and it caused you pain. That's what the system does on a daily basis, because that's what serves the purposes of these creatures to cause you to get disconnected from yourself, because they're convincing you that this is a reality that you're seeing. So you have now been brainwashed to believe that you are no longer connected to happiness. You've been hypnotized, you know? Now you have to pull away from that system and disconnect. And take your power out of that matrix and plug it into your higher self. Because it can only be plugged into one input, not both. So analyze what in your life caused you pain and suffering and sorrow. And ask yourself, why do you keep feeding these things when they cannot be rectified because you can't change the past? You can't undo what has been done. So the only thing you can do is focus and live in the moment. You know, it's all about self-healing, which is the journey to self-love. Because this all starts with self-love. Self-love is the foundation upon which the remainder of your natural life on earth and your eternal life shall be built upon. And the moment you start to love yourself again, you awaken from that dormancy and you pull that plug out of the matrix and you plug it into your higher self inside your soul. Heaven is your soul, not high above your head, deep inside your soul. And you no longer are surrendering your energy because you no longer care what people think about you because they cannot even think for themselves. This, by the way, was told to me this evening. The reason why people are so disconnected from their happiness is because they're not connected to their true self, their true nature, their higher self. You are disconnected, you know, but not in a physical sense where there's an actual disconnection. You are disconnected in your mind is making you believe that this is real. Because you've been hypnotized, let us not forget that. And you've been brainwashed and programmed and conditioned to believe that this is the only reality there is. That's all there is. Just the system, the cold, hard truth. You know, you wake up every day, you dread your life, that kind of garbage, going through the motions but not moving at all. keep reliving all the garbage in your head from the past that makes you suffer and brings you pain. You keep projecting what you don't want, and that's exactly what you receive as far as experiences. So this is very important that you get this part of it before I end the video. They took your power without you knowing it, and they got you to plug into something demonic. Now, when you're plugged into something demonic, you're not going to receive high vibrational happiness. It's up to you now to be cognizant, to be lucid and sentient about this by becoming proactive and autonomous again, and reclaiming your energy, taking back your power, and regaining control that you surrendered, that you didn't even know you did, by disconnecting from that system and taking that power cord, so to speak, and plugging it back into your higher self and fortifying that connection where it can never be broken again. By thriving in a high vibrational environment, you will always stay connected to your higher self, because when you are in a high vibrational environment, you are always thriving. When you are in their low vibrational environment, you're existing and you're always unhappy, because you only have one source of energy that can be plugged into any one thing at one time. You can't plug into the everything of everything, in the sense that you can't be all of these things at once. I'm not talking about returning to the formless non-physical. What I'm speaking of is when you have a journey on earth, you either root yourself in the material or you root yourself in the metaphysical. Balance occurs through time when you gain access to the fourth dimension, when you can realize that you can utilize the aspects of this, but still always be tethered to your higher self. Just like those deep sea divers from those old movies, they got the suit on with the air hose going to the boat, that kind of a thing. You're always tethered to that high vibration no matter where you go, no matter what the environment is around you. That takes work. But this is just a little insight as to why you're unhappy, And I see it all the time. And people they dread their life. You can see it. They're just miserable, disconnected, discontent. They can't stand their family. They just don't like the way their life turned out. All of this. Not realizing that a lot of this had nothing to do with you. This was already set in place long before your mother gave birth to you, by the way. This has been in place for centuries and centuries and centuries because it works so well. That's why they don't change it. But anyway, disconnect from that system. Reclaim your power. Stop using your feelings and emotions to stay tethered to experiences that you cannot change and you cannot control, that are destroying you. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeding that victim mentality. Take your power and reconnect it to your higher self. And your higher self can offer you experiences of a high vibrational nature where you will first and foremost begin to thrive again in a beautiful, toxic-free environment. Like I said before, thriving is far more than living, as existence is less than survival. You only exist and drift in their system, but you more than thrive in a high vibrational environment once you reconnect to your higher self. That's what your angels have been trying to get you to do from day one. That's why it's very hard for your angels. Imagine their dilemma. You are invisible, you can't be heard or seen, and you can't be sensed or detected. But yet they somehow manage to get all of these messages through. Especially when somebody's in a one-dimensional mentality and they see numbers repeating numbers. They don't know what this is, because their perceptive lens is only acclimated to a low vibrational environment that is conducive to only recognizing what exists inside that low vibrational environment, because they've been trained that way. Your training mechanism says, that is an illusion, ignore it. This is the only reality there is. This is the system, and that's all there is, and that's all you know, because we control it. We will take care of you, so says the three-letter agencies. You catching my drift? That's exactly why when you're low dimensional, you don't know what repeating numbers are, because your angels are trying to subtly nudge you out of that matrix, trying to wiggle that cord to pop it loose so you can plug into your higher self again, your authentic self, your true self. The very essence of who and what you really are, because this is just a role you're playing, a character, It's like a movie. It's just a show. It's a game. When you plug into your higher self, that is the only reality there is. Ask yourself, what is the in-between area between an illusion and a reality? Nobody really knows that. Some say it's purgatory, the in-between, the limitless fields of flux potential. Nobody really knows. But the point I'm trying to impress upon you before I end this video is that you have the power to do anything you possibly want to do. And this is one of them. To heal yourself, to help yourself, to guide yourself, to direct yourself, to cause you to remove yourself from that evidence of lunacy that you've been tied to, and cause yourself and allow yourself to be the catalyst of your progressive developmental evolutionary motion, and not the catalyst of your own demise. You are the impetus. You are the nucleus. You are the very provenance. You are the core. You are the very essence of what kicks off whatever you want to do with your energy. Your energy was stolen from you as a child because you didn't know any better. Now you do. Now the question is on your shoulders. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to remain plugged into that system that's sucking the life out of you? These are vampires, parasites, and leeches, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to suck the very life out of you every single moment of your life until the day you're dead. And by dead, I mean until your body reaches terminus and is returned to the earth and the soul departs the body. Because there is no death. Death is an illusion. You know? Are you going to continue to stay plugged into that? And all of the drama and low vibrational experiences that go along with that matrix? Because they just have plenty of that. Ever wonder why it is when you're on the parkway, there never seems to be an end of the supply of ridiculously insane people behind you tailgating you? When one leaves, another one takes its place. And it just never seems to be an end to, there just seems to be an endless supply of these crazy people. That's because the system made them that way. Because that's what works best for them. So when you unplug from that madness, your heart, unplug, your soul, unplug, your mind, unplug, your aura, your essence, your presence, your being, unplug, your memories, your feelings and emotions, unplug, unplug, unplug. Your impulses and instincts, your nature, your character, your personality, your traits, your idiosyncrasies, your habits, unplug. They get nothing. They deserve nothing. You get nothing from me. I don't validate you. I don't confirm you as anything. I don't acknowledge you. Nothing. I don't verify you as anything other than what you are, disingenuous and phony. I give you nothing. That is the moment you become a conscientious observer, assessing situations. You are no longer assimilating energies as an active participant or a willing contributor. That's what causes you to plug in and wanting to fit in. So there it is in a nutshell. You are unhappy because you're plugged into something satanic and demonic. That's going to continually pump that garbage into your head. You know? Keep up with the Joneses. You don't make enough money. You're not pretty enough. You're not rich enough. You're not smart enough. You're not this enough. You're never enough. Yeah, you could live in a house the size of a shopping mall so big you could see it from space and it's not enough. You've got a fleet of brand new Lamborghinis in your driveway. Not enough. You're not famous enough. You know, your reputation is not right there. You know, your status isn't that good. They keep upping it. You'll never reach it. It's unattainable. That's why it's unrealistic expectations that you will never meet or surpass. That's why you're hard on yourself. This is what causes you another reason to be disconnected from your happiness. Happiness is a state of being that you alone create. Remember that. You have to establish and maintain a connection again to your higher self by disconnecting permanently from that matrix and reconnecting permanently to your higher self. And just assessing these situations, not taking them seriously because it's just a game. And the moment you reevaluate your situation and your circumstances, that's when the real fun begins. Because now they can't exploit you anymore. Because you don't have any addictions or obsessions. You don't have any obsessive compulsive habits that they can latch onto and exploit and manipulate you with. Because people who are addicted to things, that's their weakness. And that weakness it doesn't go unnoticed by the system, ladies and gentlemen. It's like a lion on the plains of the Serengeti, patiently waiting for that one sick little gazelle to pick out and eat alive. You're dealing with predators. And they predate on your innocence and your inner child. And your inner child, by the way, is your connection to your earth angel. So this is the reason why God never gives up on you, because God sees the potential in you that you fail to see in yourself because you've been blinded by this system from day one. You will continue to receive divine symbols, signals, messages, divine synchronicity until you align with a higher vibration and your perceptive lens is now shifted from becoming an egocentric perceptive lens of duality into becoming a cosmic perceptive lens of a panoramic spectrum of oneness. Then you'll begin to truly view things through persistence of vision and perpetual motion. Because nothing happens until something moves. So you got to move yourself out of that system and plug it into your higher self. Do you understand? They took your innocence, your energy, and they plugged it into something that's raping you. Take it away and plug it into something that loves you unconditionally and that will never hurt you. Right? That is the power of self-love. Self-love is the intermediary through which all of these mediums are allowed to conjoin. They eradicated your self-love by breaking your heart. That's why on earth our hearts are broken. In heaven, not up there, they're made whole once again. You see, there is no disconnection from source. There never was, there never will be. That is the great illusion. I hope this video helped you. You have the power to do anything that you want. Heal yourself, make yourself happy again, get back your joy and your laughter and your light that they stole from you. Because once they steal these energies, they harness them. You think they're grabbing up all of this energy just for no reason? They harness your energy. It's taken off of the earth and it's used for nefarious purposes. But you are the power. You are the energy. You are the force. You are the engine of creation. You are the all that is. That's why they say I am. You are the I am that is the everything of everything, because everything goes on forever in every direction. And you are just as much a part of that as God is, because you are God. And that is the simple truth. Bless your journey.